Hola guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shannon and I'm a Dutch health scientist living in Adelaide, Australia. So in this video, I'll be going over how to reference and cite a research article in Harvard style and how you can do this within less than 1 minute. Why and when is referencing important? Referencing is an important part of academic work as it puts your work into context. It demonstrates the depth of your research and acknowledges other people's work. And it is important to reference whenever you use an idea from someone else's work. For example, whenever you use an idea from a journal article, a textbook, or a website, you should always cite the original author to make it clear where that idea came from. And this is the case regardless of whether you have paraphrased, summarized, or directly quoted that work. So the reasons why you should always reference are, first of all, it helps you to avoid plagiarism by making it clear which ideas are your own and which are someone else's. Second, it shows your understanding of the topic. Third, it gives supporting evidence for your ideas, arguments, and opinions. And lastly, it allows others to identify the sources that you used. So knowing why and when to reference is all part of academic integrity, which is basically learning how to interpret and present other people's ideas and combine them with your own to produce academic work. Because if you don't, you'll simply commit plagiarism, which is presenting someone else's work either in part or in whole as your own. How to reference Harvard style within text. Before diving into the main part of how to reference at the end of your paper, I just quickly want to mention how you want to cite your references within your text. So there are two ways of doing this. First is by mentioning the author directly in your text and putting the date of publication between brackets. So for example, the author's surname is Van der Krook. You're right, Van der Krook between brackets 2020 showed that long-term cancer survivors are ... And it's important that you put the date there because if you're using another paper by the same author, but let's say from 2019, then people can still distinguish where the idea came from. The second way to reference within your text is by citing the author's name indirectly in your text or by paraphrasing. So what you do here is you take an idea or piece of information from another author and then put it in your own words. But as you're still using someone else's idea, you need to reference the idea by putting the surname and date of publication between brackets at the end of that sentence. Another thing you need to keep in mind when citing within your text is the number of authors. So if it's just Van der Krook who wrote the paper, you simply reference within your text using that name. But if you have two authors, you separate the two by using and. So this will, for example, be Van der Krook and Gunn 2020. And when you have three or more authors, you put at all after the first author. So Van der Krook at all 2020. How to reference at the end. Okay, so now that we've covered the within text citing, let's move on to how you reference at the end of your paper, or also known the reference list. So the basic format for referencing Harvard style is author, year, article, title, journal title, the volume, the issue, and then the page numbers. So if you follow this basic format, then you first have to write down the author's surname. And this is then followed by the author's initials. And then at the end of, like if you have three authors, after mentioning all these three authors, you end with the publication date. Then you write down the title of the research article and then the title of the journal paper, and that's in italics. And then at the end you have the volume number, the issue number, and then the pages. Unfortunately, when you look up Harvard style referencing, you come across many Harvard style guides, and each of which is slightly different. And this is because different organizations or bodies have adapted the basic author date system for their own needs and simply retained the name Harvard. So always make sure to double check with your university guidelines which Harvard style they use. But the basic format always stays the same. So the only difference might be that the commas are different, or whether you put the date between brackets or not, or whether the title is in italics or have single quotation marks. Endnotes and how to use it. So although knowing the basics of referencing and citing is a good thing to have stuck in your brain, especially the basic formatting, there's actually another way to reference and cite a research article in less than 1 minute. And this is what I've been using since I was in the first year of university, and I definitely recommend to all students to use this starting from the first year, because this will save you tons and tons of time. Then you just open the library. And then from here you can just simply download and import references in your EndNote library. So let's say we go to Google Scholar. This is really easy to just find like papers and whatnot, but you can also use PubMed and all those other websites. But let's say you're looking for a paper. I'm just looking up my own. So then you have your paper. Mine is just at the top, and all you need to do is just click this icon, and then you already see like so many types of referencing formats or styles. Here you can see how the Harvard style is referenced, but you simply click on EndNote, then it downloads the citation, and then you can simply click on it, and then it automatically transfers to your library EndNote, your EndNote library. And when you click on here, you can just see that you have all this information. So in this case, there is no volume number, so there's also no issue, but you have the page numbers, you have the title, you have the journal title, and then all the authors. What you then simply do is just open up Word or open up your paper, and let's just see if I can open the paper. Let's just quickly, yes, okay, so let's just copy paste. So you can see this is a different style of referencing that I had to do for this particular journal. But anyway, let's say I want to reference this sentence. I simply go to EndNote, I select the reference that I want to use, and then I simply click here on citing. And then you automatically get the within text citing, and also the citation that you will have to put on at the end of your paper. So just make sure that you have a title for this, which is usually simply references. But your EndNote library, like just importing the reference, it will automatically put it in the order that you have to do. So with certain styles, you have to order them by just simply alphabetically. But with the numbered ones, let's say Vancouver, I think it's Vancouver that uses numbers. Anyway, you just have the numbered list, and yeah, but EndNote does it just automatically. So now here you see you've got the reference, you have the within text citing. All you need to always do is just double check whether you have the right style, because once you do another one, you can see like it transfers in a different style. So always double check, and that's all. That's how you can simply reference within 1 minute by just using EndNote. And this is honestly like a lifesaver, trust me, when you have to write your thesis or a research report or just an essay. It's just so easy to simply import all your references in a library, and then from here transfer them or cite them in your paper, and then you don't have to worry about like double checking whether you're citing in the right way, because it's all being done for you. Well, that was all for this video. I hope you got something out of it, and that it will help you to save tons of times now that you know you can simply use EndNote to reference in only 1 minute. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and remember, anything is possible.